"I saw them," he went on, "as I came up, and I'm very glad I did. I knew they were after somebody, but I couldn't see who it was. They won't touch you so long as I'm with you." "Why, who are you?" asked the nurse, offended at the freedom with which he spoke to them. "I'm Peter's son." "Who's Peter?" "Peter the miner." "I don't know him." "I'm his son, though." "And why should the goblins mind you, pray?" "Because I don't mind them. I'm used to them." "What difference does that make?" "If you're not afraid of them, they're afraid of you. I'm not afraid of them. That's all. But it's all that's wanted, up here, that is. It's a different thing, down there. They won't always mind that song, even, down there. And if anyone sings it, they stand grinning at him awfully. And if he gets frightened and misses a word or says a wrong one, oh, don't they give it him." "What do they do to him?" asked Irene with a trembling voice. "Don't go frightening the princess," said the nurse. "The princess?" repeated the little miner, taking off his curious cap. "I beg your pardon, but you oughtn't be out so late. Everybody knows that's against the law." "Yes, indeed it is," said the nurse, beginning to cry again, "and I shall have to suffer for it." "What does that matter?" said the boy. "It must be your fault. It is the princess who will suffer for it. I hope they didn't hear you call her the princess. If they did, they are sure to know her again. They're awfully sharp." "Looty, Looty," cried the princess, "take me home." "Don't go on like that," said the nurse to the boy, almost fiercely. "How could I help it? I lost my way." "You shouldn't have been out so late. You wouldn't have lost your way if you hadn't been frightened," said the boy. "Come along. I'll soon set you right again. Shall I carry your little highness?" "Impertinence," murmured the nurse, but she did not say it aloud, for she thought if she made him angry, he might take his revenge by telling someone belonging to the house, and then it would be sure to come to the king's ears. "No, thank you," said Irene. "I can walk very well, though I can't run so fast as Nursey. If you will give me one hand, Looty will give me another, and then I shall get on famously." They soon had her between them, holding a hand of each. "Now let's run," said the nurse. "No, no," said the little miner. "That's the worst thing you can do. If you hadn't run before, you would not have lost your way. And if you run now, they will be after you in a moment." "I don't want to run," said Irene. "You don't think of me," said the nurse. "Yes, I do, Looty. The boy says they won't touch us if we don't run." "Yes, but if they know at the house that I've kept you out so late, I shall be turned away, and that would break my heart." "Turned away, Looty? Who would turn you away?" "Your papa, child." "But I'll tell him it was all my fault, and you know it was, Looty." "He won't mind that, I'm sure he won't." "Then I'll cry, and go down on my knees, and beg him not to take away my own dear Looty." The nurse was comforted at hearing this, and said no more. They went on, walking pretty fast, but taking care not to run a step. "I want to talk to you," said Irene to the little miner, "but it's so awkward. I don't know your name." "My name's Curdie, little princess." "What a funny name, Curdie. What more?" "Curdie Peterson." "What's your name, please?" "Irene." "What more?" "I don't know what more. What more is my name, Looty?" Princesses haven't got more than one name. They don't want it. Oh, well then, Curdie, you must just call me Irene, and no more. No, indeed, said the nurse indignantly. He shall do no such thing. What shall he call me then, Lootie? Your Royal Highness. My Royal Highness? What's that? No, Lootie, I won't be called names. I don't like them. You told me once yourself, it's only rude children that call names. And I'm sure Curdie wouldn't be rude. Curdie, my name's Irene. Well, Irene, said Curdie, with a glance at the nurse which showed he enjoyed teasing her. It is very kind of you to let me call you anything. I like your name very much. He expected the nurse to interfere again, but he soon saw that she was too frightened to speak. She was staring at something a few yards before them, in the middle of the path, where it narrowed between rocks, so that only one could pass at a time. It is very much kinder of you to go out of your way to take us home, said Irene. I'm not going out of my way yet, said Curdie. It's on the other side of those rocks the path turns off to my father's. You wouldn't think of leaving us till we're safe home, I'm sure, gasped the nurse. Of course not, said Curdie. You dear, good, kind Curdie, I'll give you a kiss when we get home, said the princess. The nurse gave her a great pull by the hand she held, but at that instant the something in the middle of the way, which had looked like a great lump of earth brought down by the rain, began to move. One after another it shot out 4 long things, like 2 arms and 2 legs, but it was too dark to tell what they were. The nurse began to tremble from head to foot. Irene clasped Curdie's hand yet faster, and Curdie began to sing again. 1, 2, hit and hew. 3, 4, blast and bore. 5, 6, there's a fix. 7, 8, hold it straight. 9, 10, hit again. Hurry, scurry, bother, smother. There's a toad in the road. Smash it, squash it, fry it, dry it. You're another. Up and off. There's enough. Her. As he uttered the last words, Curdie let go his hold of his companion, and rushed at the thing in the road, as if he would trample it under his feet. It gave a great spring, and ran straight up on one of the rocks like a huge spider. Curdie turned back laughing, and took Irene's hand again. She grasped his very tight, but said nothing till they had passed the rocks. A few yards more, and she found herself on a part of the road she knew, and was able to speak again. Do you know, Curdie, I don't quite like your song. It sounds to me rather rude, she said. Well, perhaps it is, answered Curdie. I never thought of that. It's a way we have. We do it because they don't like it. Who don't like it? The cobs, as we call them. Don't, said the nurse. Why not? Said Curdie. I beg you won't. Please don't. Oh, if you ask me that way, of course I won't, though I don't know a bit why. Look, there are the lights of your great house down below. You'll be at home in 5 minutes now. Nothing more happened. They reached home in safety. Nobody had missed them, or even known they had gone out, and they arrived at the door belonging to their part of the house, without any one seeing them. The nurse was rushing in with a hurried and not over-gracious good night to Curdie, but the princess pulled her hand from hers, and was just throwing her arms round Curdie's neck when she caught her again and dragged her away. Looty, I promised a kiss, cried Irene. A princess mustn't give kisses. It's not at all proper, said Looty. But I promised, said the princess. There's no occasion. He's only a minor boy. He's a good boy, and a brave boy, and he has been very kind to us. Looty, I promised. Then you shouldn't have promised. Looty, I promised him a kiss. Your Royal Highness, said Looty, suddenly grown very respectful, must come in directly. Nurse, a princess must not break her word, said Irene, drawing herself up and standing stock still. Looty did not know which the king might count the worst, to let the princess be out after sunset, or to let her kiss a minor boy. She did not know that, being a gentleman, as many kings have been, he would have counted neither of them the worse. However much he might have disliked his daughter to kiss the minor boy, he would not have had her break her word for all the goblins in creation. But as I say, the nurse was not lady enough to understand this, and so she was in great difficulty, for if she insisted, someone might hear the princess cry and run to see, and then all would come out. But here Curdie came again to the rescue. "Never mind, Princess Irene," he said. "You mustn't kiss me tonight, but you shan't break your word. I will come another time. You may be sure I will." "Oh, thank you, Curdie," said the princess, and stopped crying. "Good night, Irene." "Good night, Looty," said Curdie, and turned, and was out of sight in a moment. "I should like to see him," muttered the nurse, as she carried the princess to the nursery. "You will see him," said Irene. "You may be sure Curdie will keep his word. He's sure to come again." "I should like to see him try," repeated the nurse, and said no more. She did not want to open a new cause of strife with the princess by saying more plainly what she meant. Glad enough that she had succeeded both in getting home unseen and in keeping the princess from kissing the miner's boy, she resolved to watch her far better in future. Her carelessness had already doubled the danger she was in. Formerly, the goblins were her only fear. Now she had to protect her charge from Curdie as well.